Do this, you can do this. It's easy, it's very easy. You've done this before. Hello, and welcome back to Slightly Bookish. It's been a really long time since I came onto this channel. I forgot that it existed. It's been more than a year since I posted anything. A lot has changed, and everything is still the same. This video is gonna be a little bit of yapping, a little bit of my philosophical self. It's literally 12 in the afternoon and I did not want to study. That is why I'm making this video. So yeah, sit down, grab something to eat or drink because this is gonna be a little long. So I've made a little list on my notes app about medical college events that altered my brain chemistry. So we're going to start with the first one, and that is moving out at 18. You live with your parents. It's the most concealed, the most protected bubble of an environment where everything is done for you. The way you spend your time, the way you think is very different from how it is when you move out. The biggest way that it affected the way I think and the way I went on with my life was that I started looking at things in a more solution and goal oriented manner, because at least in the beginning of college, a majority of the time I was living in survival mode. I was trying to figure out how to study this or how to study that, or get used to the new routine that was coming up, how to make new friends, how to get into that club, how to get into that committee. Oh, that interview is coming up, or oh, I have a test this Friday. You have to study, you have to do extracurricular, you have to do sports, you have to take time out for yourself, do self-care, you have to sleep. All of that, when you realize it's completely on you now, like you don't have your mom shutting off the lights at 9 p.m. telling you to go to sleep. You can do anything you want. You can stay awake till 3 a.m. if you choose to. You can wake up at 5 a.m. if you want to. That brings in a lot of power, but at the same time in a very dangerous way, because now every single thing you do is going to, in some domino effect, change your near future. Every single decision you make is now on your own. You can choose to discuss it with your parents if you want to. You can choose to ask them if you want, and you can completely choose not to tell them at all. It's all on you. You have the independence, you have the choice, and still choosing to do the right thing. Okay, that was very philosophical, but yeah. Getting severely sick in the second month of college. So this thing happened to me I think I started college in September. It was around November. I got an insect bite which progressed to cellulitis. For those of you who don't know what cellulitis is, it's basically a soft tissue infection. It could be due to a random abrasion, a random scratch or trauma or wound that existed. As an 18-year-old, I was so damn scared. Advised to be completely bedridden. I could not go to class. I was like, my life is ended, what's gonna happen to me, मैं मरने वाली हूँ, like why is this happening to me, and I need my mom. And that gave me a lot of, let's just say, experience, and now that I'm past it, I can laugh about it and be like, it was not that serious. But cellulitis can be a very serious condition if it's not treated on time. That was for the first time in my life where I actually decided that, oh, there's something wrong with my foot, I need to get it checked, I need to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital. I was going for checkups like every other day. I was taking like a full course of antibiotics for the whole month. Even when I was not allowed to walk, I used to walk to the hospital, which looking back was kind of a stupid decision. I probably should have asked for help. But that's the thing. I did not know I could ask for help. I did not realize that actually, take help from people. I could actually have some sort of support system. It was just me and my roommate, and she helped me a lot, luckily. That altered my brain chemistry in a sense that I was all of a sudden this very grown person that had to do everything on her own. And at that point of time, I was just thinking, I have to get through this. I have to get well. I cannot be this sick because I've never been this sick. My leg hurts. I cannot walk. I cannot go to class. I have to get okay. And it did resolve. It was not that serious. But in my head, I was in like full on survival Miss Independent Woman. That kind of like pushed me out of that protected, concealed environment that I was talking about. Dissecting and exposure to cadavers. When you enter medical college for the first time, you are very excited that you're going to see real human bodies and you're going to dissect it by yourself. And if you come from a medical background, you might have had some exposure to this. But if you come from a completely non-medical background, if you're a first generation medical student, you have not seen this before at all. Go to the dissection hall for the first time and you see a dead body lying there. It smells of formalin. That person looks like they could be alive, but they're not. When you pick up the scalpel for the first time, when you mark it and you make an incision, you're still afraid of how much pressure should I apply, or when the scalpel actually goes in, you're like, oh my god. In your head, you're gonna be like, okay, that is a real person. Or at some point of time, it was. You're subconsciously thinking that if I am cutting into this body, I might actually hurt them, and it's not a nice thing to do. And when you do it, you're like, okay, this wasn't that weird. This wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. It's actually like very okay. And then when you start incising it, when you say reach the muscle, you're like, oh wait, this feels different. Like cutting through a muscle feels like it's like a bundle of fibers, and when you're subsequently incising, it feels very new. And when I told all of this to my sister, she was like, wow, you're gonna be a completely different person when you get out of this, because I cannot imagine little Nikki talking about cutting through a muscle and how new and how different it feels. The year goes by, you learn more anatomy, you dissect the whole body, you cut out the lung, you take out the intestine, you dissect the kidney, you do all of that. Just in that moment when your brain changes from this might be a real person, I'm not supposed to hurt them, I have the scalpel in my hand, what should I do? Oh, I'm scared to go in. To it's just a cadaver. You're just supposed to open it. You're supposed to see the organ. Just label it, mark it. I'm here to learn. It's not a real person. It is kind of huge if you think about it for a normal person who is not exposed to patients, to dead bodies, to cadavers, to all of this tickly. It is very serious and weird for them. Next is something I'd like to call the fall of Rita. So, also mentioned this in my last video, and I'm going to say it again. When you changed from that position that these are the question answers, this is the science का chapter number 5 that is going to come in the exam, और मैंने याद कर लिया और मम्मी सुन लो, to neoplasia is coming in the pathology paper, and you could read it from Robbins, or you could read it from Harsh Mohan, or you could choose to read it from Marrow, or you could read it from XYZ book in the library. And questions कहाँ से आएंगे? एक काम वो ना previous year paper देख लेना, पर यार department वाले कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, tough paper बना देंगे, और यार number तो वो देते ही नहीं है. That is ज़मीन आसमान का difference, and that changes the way that you study, that changes the way you look at exams. For an average academically inclined student, you're like, मुझे syllabus ख़त्म करना है, मुझे पेपर की पूरी तैयारी करनी है, मुझे उसके बाद 2-3 रिविजन मारने हैं. But now you look at things के यार पेपर से पहले ना बस ये नोट्स कर जाऊँ, मैं इससे पास हो जाऊँ बस. और सबको लगता है कि I will not fall into this trap and this will not happen to me, but this happens to everybody. So the next change is something that happened not in first year but in second year. So when you start clinical postings in second year, when you go to the hospital for the first time, you're going as a third party. Before this, when you go to the hospital, you go with a very directed mind that, oh, maybe किसी से मिलने जाना है, या फिर oh, डॉक्टर का अपॉइंटमेंट है, यहाँ जाना है, वहाँ जाना है, ढूंढ के फिर वापस आ जाना है. But when you're actually posted there, when you actually spend a lot of time, when you're actually roaming around in the hospital, when say you had a break in between and you go look for the canteen and you drink a coffee जहाँ पे सारे doctors बैठे हैं, सामने patient बैठे हैं, when you roam around in the wards, when they send you to take a case, when you see patients that have been there for like several days, when you see patients who just stop you to ask where XYZ place is, they're like, oh sorry, I'm in second year, I don't know a lot about where everything is. And you realize that every single person who is in that hospital is because they are in distress, because there is a bad time in their life that they're going through. Maybe their loved one is going through something. Maybe somebody is hopeful that things will change, and somebody is scared of the result. Somebody is happy that maybe they're recovering. Somebody is dreading test results. Somebody is hoping that this too will pass. Somebody is holding on to hope. Somebody is standing in front of the mandir in the hospital, and you're just there looking around, going there every day, realizing that this is going to be my life. I actually am going to be responsible in the near future for these people. It brings in a lot of seriousness in what you are doing. That moment when you realize that your friends are your family. At least in college, when you're living away from your home, when you don't have your family near you, the set of people that you choose to be around, the set of people that you give your love and time to, and the people who give you theirs, you realize that these people are my family now. I see them in class, I see them in hostel, I see them around, I see them, they help me, I help them. I need these people to survive. You realize how strong of a bond, of a connection you have built with these people that are not related to you by blood. How amazing is that? How amazing is the fact that you actually made the right decision, chose the right people to be with. Next is realizing that nothing is that serious except everything now is. Now this applies to a lot of things. whether it's your studies, whether it's your career, whether hobby that you want to do, something, maybe something happened with you and your friends, something happened in your relationship, all of that, you realize that nothing is that serious. Oh wait, I can choose to feel this way, or I can choose to not feel that way. But at the same time, what the fuck is happening to me? Why am I sad? Why am I angry? Why am I frustrating? Why am I crying? Realizing that your emotions are completely in your hands, and at the same time they're so not. I'm not going to say a lot to this. I just want to say that sometimes as young adults, we, especially with this new Gen Z culture, we're taught that we're not supposed to feel our emotions that deep, or nothing is that deep. You know what, actually you're allowed to be sad, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to feel the way you do, and in every single feeling that you have is completely valid. Just also know that you don't sit in that shit. You don't let that feeling eat you up. You have to let that feeling completely consume you, feel it in your bones, but then also have the power to let it go. Because nothing is that serious. It's ever changing, life is ever evolving, you are ever evolving, and it's okay to make mistakes. Shit happens, we move on. Spending a major festival away from home. I come from a family where we celebrate Diwali as this huge thing. We have the whole shebang. We go to the mandir in the morning, we make rangoli in the afternoon, we go over to our relatives at night, do the aarti at our house, then at chacha ke ghar, then tau ke ghar, देन दादी के घर, देन पड़ोसियों के घर भी चले गए कभी, तो फिर पटाखे फोड़ रहे हैं, फिर मिठाइयाँ खा रहे हैं, फिर ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं, दिवाली से कुछ दिन पहले शॉपिंग जा रहे हैं. You know, the typical way that Indians celebrate Diwali, we used to do it that way. I did not realize how special, how good, how nice it was until I spent Diwali away from home last year. But last year I went in at Dussehra, so it was not that bad. But this year I was like, it doesn't matter to me that much if I don't go home for Diwali. I'm just gonna go in December. We have a longer vacation then. But on the actual day of Diwali, I was in such a FOMO because I missed that, all of that used to happen. And that kind of altered my brain chemistry in a way that it taught me how inevitable change is and how it's supposed to happen, and you have to deal with it. There's no other option. The next one is actually really special. This is gonna be very girly, and I'm gonna yap about this a lot. Walking an actual ramp in front of hundreds of people. I used to practice walking in heels in front of my mirror as a kid, hoping and fantasizing in my head that I would, pursue that fashionable, luxury, typical, like that model life. No, I know I'm doing MBBS and it's very contrasting, and I have no intention of choosing modeling as a career anytime soon, but that it really altered my brain chemistry. When for the very first time we went to an outfest, which was people from our college went to another college to perform, and that was actually the first time I was doing it in front of people, actual people. Just that adrenaline rush, just that feeling of being on stage, and thankfully that went well. So the response that you have from people afterwards, and seeing the pictures and seeing the videos and realizing, oh my god, I just did that. God, that was so good. I can actually do this shit. That's actually something I can think about doing. That altered my brain for like ever. Before that, I never looked at fashion or modeling as something I could actually do. And the next year we performed at Utsav, and there were, I don't know, like at least 1,000 people. That makes you realize how big of an impact that has on you, from somebody who has like social anxiety talking to 5 people standing together, to actually being on stage and walking alone in front of that huge of a crowd. All the lights are on you. Oh, that was actually so cool. Another big one was seeing an autopsy for the first time. This is also very medical college oriented. When I saw an autopsy for the first time, at that point I was used to seeing cadavers, I was used to seeing dead bodies being cut. But my first autopsy, that person looked like he was sleeping, and oh my god, is he breathing? When you see an actual person who was alive maybe a few hours ago, let's just say yesterday, and they're drilling through his skull to take out his brain, when you hear that drill going into the head, and when you hear the skull crack open, when you hear them cutting through the ribs, take out all of the organs, and they look so fresh, and then they weighing it and putting and doing all of that, it is kind of big. That altered my brain chemistry in a way that I just wished to give me a natural death, because I don't want me or anybody I know or anybody close to me, any person, to actually have that done to their body. They're actual families, they're actual people, They're not just cadavers who've been lying in their fridge. They are people who were alive a few days ago. They have people who were waiting for them to come home. It just gives you a lot of fresh perspective. Another one is experiencing a college drama. The drama could be anything, not yours, for the third person. Just seeing how the story unfolds, how one person is capable of making such a huge mess, kind of changed me in a sense that I realized how much I hate drama. I would love to lay low and have nobody know about my life and what I'm up to. I would just rather disappear than have this happen to me. Going through my first emotional breakdown alone, the real world, things get so different, things get so big, so huge all of a sudden. And थोड़ी चीज़ें start accumulating, and that one tipping point comes where like the smallest inconvenience is gonna tip you off the cliff. Now you're in your room crying. When you feel like, why is this happening to me? What did I do? Why me, God? Like, this is actually normal. I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, but we've all been through those moments where we have had an emotional breakdown and been like, I can't do this anymore. Then you cry for a little bit, you get up, you drink a hot tea, maybe watch your favorite show, and then 2 hours later, you're like, why was I crying so much? Like, it wasn't even that big of a thing. The last one is kind of a repeated one that I also said in my last video, that nobody gives a damn. I think this came from not one event, but eventually my third year of college, I kind of finally came to this conclusion and this realization that everybody has so much stuff happening in their own life, and as much as you feel like all eyes are on you and oh my god, I am scared of being embarrassed, or oh, I should not do this, I should not do that, what kya log kya kahenge, blah blah blah, that is completely false. You've been lied to. Embarrassment, cringe, all of that is a myth. People might look at you and be like, I wouldn't do that. But then they move on with their lives because everybody has so much happening that after like a span of 10 seconds, nobody remembers what you're doing. Nobody remembers that one rumor that spread about you that the whole class was talking about. Nobody will remember that after a month. So just enjoy it. And medical college is just so tough already academically, and there's so much competition that it's hard to find that balance, and it's hard to not feel like you're never doing enough. We're still doing. I'm still trying to study, to open a book whenever I don't feel like doing that at all. I'm still trying to be kind. I'm still learning to have grace. I'm still learning to be helpful to people. I'm still learning to be strong and still learning to be vulnerable. And none of that will ever change. Yeah, so that was it for this video. If there's something that you feel like changed your brain chemistry, I would love to hear about it. You guys know my Instagram handle. We can also talk in the comment section if you want to. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. And
2,000 years later.
if you want me to talk about something particular, make a video on something, drop it down in the comments or in my DMs. I'm gonna go now. I have a 2 p.m. class and I have to go have lunch. I will see you in the next one. Bye.